Should you buy the new CSL DD from Fanatec? Yes, I would go buy it right now. Like now. Don't bother watching the video. Go buy it. So here we are, in its box in all its glory, the CSL DD. As you can see on the right there, I've also bought the Formula Wheel 2.5. It's the new one, which is a carbon fiber plated Formula Wheel, and we've also got the 180 boost kit from Fanatec, which is the only power source you get, and also the Club Sport quick release as well. So without further ado, you've probably seen this all before, but we're going to do a little bit of an unboxing as per the standard in review videos. So I don't know what it looks like. I've got some sort of bubble lens on, but it has anyway. So every driver has a limit. I do like the way companies are boxing their stuff now. It seems to be they put some motivational stuff. I just had the new Xbox as well, and they seem to put the quotes in there. My limit is further than others, as I'm struggling with the camera because I am useless doing it one-handed. But just a guide, some stickers, and then some very thick piece of cardboard, polystyrene. Let's get it out with my bowling fingers, and it's too heavy for me, that is. There it is in its packaging, waiting to be revealed. So that's the Fanatec base. Not too big, I can tell you though. It's very heavy. I'd probably say about 6 kilos, all in all. So when you're trying to put it on by yourself, be careful. Those little yellow metal markers are to slide underneath, so it can be screwed in to whatever base if you haven't got the forward-facing mount. This is where I decide maybe it's better just to put it down so I can do stuff. So we're going to look at the box for a second while I struggle with, because how really heavy it is. And there it is. So in its plastic wrapping, I'm being very careful. One, I don't want to break it. Two, it's really heavy, so if I just let it go for a second, I feel like I'm going to smash it on the table. But it's all very well packed, and there was no damage on the boxes from UPS. There's no damage on the unit itself. It's made from a very solid metal material. I could only explain. I don't know exactly what it is, obviously, but it's solid. It's no plastic, as far as I can tell. Weighs, as I said, 6 kilo. There's your front mounting. There's the pins inside the actual motor itself. Be careful not to damage or get any pins stuck in there by being a bit too forceful with any of the wheels you're trying to put on. But it's all wireless in terms of from the wheel when you stick it in, so all the data comes through the actual shaft of the wheel. There's me trying to pretend it's really light. There you go, that's the size of my hand. So it is about the size of my hand. I've got big hands, big fat hands. All connections go through the back. They're all labelled up correctly, and there's also a guide within the box that tells you exactly what goes where. But your power's going in the left and everything. All your auxiliaries are going in the bottom if you've got shifters or pedals, which are Fanatec. Underneath, you can see where there's 3 sliders are. That's where the 3 metal bits go in. Those ones I shown you earlier, and then you screw that into the base underneath. Try and get someone to help you, because it is absolutely ridiculous to do it on your own. It took me forever, and I was losing my patience. But that is the CSL DD base as we know it. So without further ado, I'll probably move on to the unboxing of the steering wheel. So the Fanatec Club Sport steering wheel Formula V2.5. I don't know if I've learnt my lesson yet and put the no, I'm still carrying the camera. Well done, Tony. But again, most motivational quotes on the box. If everything, as I struggle because I bite my nails. There you go. If everything seems under control, you could probably guess what's going to be coming next. You're not. I don't know why I'm reading out to you. You can read. Going fast enough. I do like that. I do. It's, little things Button covers. I'm going to buy some more because actually the ones I want aren't actually in there. Another guide, and again, very well packaged. Put this down because I am useless with cameras. If it's all set up ready for me, I'm okay. But I'm supposed to be in front of it, not behind it. Let's get rid of that box and the packaging, Tony, because it's very poor. So here it is in its nice little shoe bag, is probably what I'd call it. I got my sim racing boots and my gloves in a bag sort of like this, but protected it very nicely. Another little touch. There's some different bits and bobs for it. I don't know what they're actually for yet because I haven't had to use anything on the wheel. So undo the drawstring bag, and without further ado, there it is. So a full 5mm carbon fibre plate, very pretty, nice rubber grips, loads of rotary switches and buttons, wireless into the CSL DD itself. The paddles on the back are just the normal clubsport paddles. I don't have the podium module, but I can honestly say they feel solid. It looks great. All the buttons work as they're supposed to. It's got a ridiculous amount of functions. As we look in the back and the inside, on the inside, you take that plastic cap off, and the pins are inside there. All very well put together. I don't expect anything less from Fanatec, really. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put them both together. I'm going to spend a few hours putting it on my rig, and then I'll get back to you, and we'll have a little bit of a drive and see what it feels like. Exciting! So here we are, testing out the CSL DD on Laguna Seca. That's where this week's Ferrari fix is. And I'm going to give it a few laps. I've managed to dial in a few of the settings now, so I'm kind of comfortable and happy with where the steering wheel's at. But I can already tell you that in terms of immersiveness, oh my lord, it's taken off. In terms of immersiveness, it's pretty good. Moving from the T300 to this, it has been magnificent. I found on a few tracks now on like half a second. Look at that. With responsiveness from the motor to quickly move from left to right, so you can catch those little mistakes. I can feel everything through the wheel. It just feels so much more like I'm actually in the car. So if you're coming from a belt or a gear wheel like the Logitech, you're going to notice the difference straight away. And you know, Laguna isn't an easy track, and I can feel every bump, curb, AstroTurf going. So let's do a quick flying lap. Now the tyres are starting to warm up a bit. And I can really feel when, instead of looking for it on the screen, the understeer, I can feel when the car stops drifting out a bit. And I can get the power down so much earlier, and then I can really be on the limit of where the car wants to be, and just catch little twitches like that. It's just the responsiveness is so much more to what I'm used to, but I'm really loving how it feels in my hands. I have to wear gloves because you've got to grip on. You know, I'm using the full 8 Newton meters. And you've got to hold, your palms are going to get sweaty. You need a bit of grip, a bit of support. I mean, over here, you feel it goes so light, and then it connects with the road. You know exactly when to turn the wheel. And it just feels like I'm actually racing. So, the wheel's all set up now. As I go wide there because I'm trying to do too much stuff. So I've got connected to my rig, aluminium rig and slash steel, 3 bolts in the front. I've got the Formula 2.5 on, as you can see, and I've set it all with Fanatec, so all the LEDs you can see all lighting up. I've got to say the 2.5 is a little bit creaky under some of the power, so wrong gear there, I'm talking too much. So on some of the tighter turns at speed, I don't know what's creaking. I don't think it's the quick release or the actual base itself. I think it's a little bit of plastic on the carbon fibre. You know, I can't hear it with my headphones on, but I notice it sometimes when I watch my recordings back. So that's something to bear in mind. I don't know if it's the wheel, but I know it's not the bass. I've listened carefully with my headphones off, and it's definitely not the bass. But as you can see, you know, I'm moving the wheel constantly, but you know, that's not because it's all over the place, that's just adapting to everything on the road. Beautiful. I love it. Frankly, I love it. Yes, just worth the money, and it's not that much money when you think about how much, you know, direct drive wheels have cost before this. Nope, too much there. I'd love to try some other wheels. The Porsche wheel looks good. See how much difference you can get. But round Laguna and any track really. I did Snetterton the other day. I recorded the race and you'll see. But I looked at my fastest lap time in the race. I was doing a 107.8.7, I think. That's my personal best round there. I was net to 200, and that's half a second off the best in the world driving the Ferrari. And I never get that close. So people say you need pedals to go faster. Pedals do so much, but I think in terms of actually reacting to the car, I think an upgrade to your wheel from belt to gear is massive. So to the CSL DD from Fanatec. Is it worth the money? The hassle? The anxiety of the wait, 3 months wait now? Or the import tax debacle, the little stinger you have 3 months later when you realise you forgot to pay the tax and it's coming in your door in 2 days and you don't have that 140 quid? Short answer is yes. It's an amazing, amazing wheel, piece of equipment, hardware, whatever you want to call it. Fanatec have created something which is a bit of a game changer, I think, in terms of delivering on cost-effective, high-performance sim racing. What they've done with the direct drive motor to create something, you know, this big and give you that much power and definition whilst you drive is phenomenal, and it's really changed the way I'm sim racing. The passion I've got, I'm starting to get the bug back. I'm sitting down and doing practice laps, and I'm trying to find time because I don't feel like I'm losing time due to hardware. I'm losing time due to me, but that's something I got control of. That's, you know, something I can fix and get better at. The T300 that I had, the belt was wearing thin, and I was just losing time because I could feel it was so loose, and I just didn't want to play anymore because I was making mistakes not based on what I was doing, but what the hardware I had. The hardware was failing me. My advice to anyone who's coming into sim racing, and you know that you're probably going to be investing a bit of money in the future, and you can't afford it right now, I'd wait. And don't go entry level Logitech Thrustmaster. I'd go with this. You know, €350 plus the boost kit. Okay, you know, another 180 on top of that, and a wheel. It adds up to 700, but it's still the cheapest direct drive on the market. 8 Newton meters force is enough. It's enough, believe me, on iRacing or anything you're going to face. You don't, unless you're a competitive professional sim racer, you don't need more. You definitely don't need more. I'd definitely go for the boost kit though. I think if you had any less power, I think you'd really struggle. I've seen some reviews. I haven't got the normal boost kit myself, so I haven't tested it. But I'd happily say that you need the 8 Newton meters, and pick any wheel you want. I've only picked this because I'm just got a big fan of Formula wheels, and you get the kind of like the LED lighting and a multiple of functions because I don't have a button box. I try and keep everything very simplistic. The only thing that dog wants to cuddle. The only thing that I would say is the quick release seems a little bit flimsy still. I know there's a new one coming out. This is the Club Sport quick release. It was free with obviously the wheel that I've got, and because I've bought direct drive and stuff. It's got a bit of movement. It's solid. The base is solid against my rig, which is the next level rating GT Track. It's a hefty rig. It weighs about 30-40 kilos. It's not going anywhere, and you're always going to get a little bit of play. You're never not going to get a bit of play, and I don't recognise it once the wheel is on. It's when the wheel is off, when the magnets aren't activated within the motor, that you can feel it a bit more. But when it's moving, I don't notice it at all. It's definitely less than the Thrustmaster, so there's no complaints there. There's no noise from it. It doesn't overheat. It's got loads of this is what all these slits are for, I think, to allow for the cooling inside. But it's running from the drive of the actual motor rather than transporting all that data into a gear or into a belt. So you're getting all the data straight through the wheel anyway. I really like it. I think if you can afford it, go buy it. If you can't afford it, I'd save up. I wouldn't rush in. I think that's the sort of mistake that I've made before, where I just keep buying stuff because I think I'm doing little upgrades at a time. And I was looking at this CSW 2.5, and I'm glad I waited and spent an extra 300 on this, with the boost kit and the wheel, because it's made a huge difference. Definitely. I think the only thing you need to get are some pedals. I think if you're struggling for pedals, I'd go for the CSL pedals. They're 90 euros, and then you can add the load cell in at a later date. But it gives you some pedals to start off with, and from what I've heard, they're really good quality and better than most entry level pedals you're going to get. But you will need that load cell at probably some point if you want to keep going with it. Let me know what you think. If you've got one already. If you're in here looking for settings for iRacing from the Fanalabs, I'll post a video with all my settings once I've fine-tuned the last little moments, but I think I'm basically there. But I'll show you all the settings, and I'll show you how to set it up and update the firmware in another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's really helping the channel. We're really close to 1,000 subscribers. Enjoy your racing. Don't forget to enjoy it. I think that's a lot of people forget to do it a lot of time. I think that's why I got a bit of a burnout, because I was trying too hard. No one's perfect, and we're all here to have fun and learn. Have a good week. Stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.